It would take an incredibly long time to go through every single command within MyOpenMath and all of these macros. So there is some exploration that will be left to you to dig in and find the right commands and tools that will allow you to create the questions that you're after. But we do want to demonstrate how we would call on the additional macros that are not preloaded into the system. And again, we would do that by clicking on the macro library help link once we're already inside that question editor. And then scrolling past those core libraries, we see a list of additional libraries. Any of these we can call on and then load the commands contained within those. We're going to look at doing this with the stats library. Once we load the stats library, now we have a long list of additional commands that we can call on to calculate combinations, permutations, find mean, variance, standard deviation of data sets. And then obviously the other libraries are going to give us a wide array of other commands. To do this, we need to know the name of that library that we're calling. So in this case, it's stats, all lowercase. And in the common control, what we'll do is type load library as all one word, open up a set of parentheses, and then a set of quotation marks. We'll type the library name or names that we want to load. So if we had more than one library, we would just add a comma, the next name, comma, the next name, all inside that one set of quotation marks. Here we're just loading a single library just to demonstrate this process. And now we can call on some of those sample statistic calculations like mean, variance, standard deviation. And in order to look at using this, we could create an array. Well, we could do this in two different ways. First, we'll look at finding the mean of a list of numbers directly. So if we create a variable a, we want that to be the mean of a list of numbers or of an array of numbers. We could set that up like this, where we create that array inside that mean command, and now our variable a will be that resulting average. So in this case, we get 2.5. Obviously, if we have random variables mixed in there instead of those fixed numbers, then we have variation in our problem. The other way to do this is to create a random array or create your array first. And one way to do that would be to use the command rands. We'll create a list of random integers between -10 and 10. And we'll say that our list is 15 values long. So with this command, we're creating a list of 15 numbers between -10 and 10. It's possible that 0 could be a value. It's possible values could be repeated because we don't have any of those additional commands in there related to generating random numbers. And then we could create another variable, which we could call mean or average or whatever we want to call this. We'll call this average1, which is the mean of that array that we created just above. And now, since we created a random list, this value is going to change with each iteration. And then, of course, we could add any of the other macros and commands that we've already learned on top of this. For instance, if we always wanted to round our mean to 4 decimal places, we could include that round command with a (4) so that we only have 4 decimal places in our result. Again, there is an exhaustive list of all of the additional macro libraries. They tend to be fairly well named, so they give you a clue as to what you're looking for. So Polys has macros related to creating and evaluating things with polynomials, finding roots. Inside Matrix, there is a really good one for, let's see, where is that? Polynomial regression. So given two arrays, creating a first degree or larger polynomial. But again, it just really comes down to what commands you need in order to get at the outcomes that you're trying to assess with those questions, which will require spending some time digging through some of these different macro libraries to learn what those possibilities are.